So let's talk about triggers. Do you guys experience certain triggers that bring back waves of grief? And if so, how do you describe them? What are they, and what do you do to get through them?
For me, it's less and less. Obviously, the further and further and further you are removed time wise, typically, it's less lessened. But when I was in training, when I was back in school, so this is 6 years after he passed, I had to do a rotation at a children's hospital, the same children's hospital that Brigham went to. And so, seeing these kids and stuff, that was really tough working there. And even now, a little bit, I don't work with peds in the hospital that I'm at now. They do sometimes I'll see outside the OR, as I'm walking to my OR, I'll see a crib or a bed with stuffed animal or something. And
yeah, so that was something he knew he probably was not able to do, was do pediatrics because of that. But he has a special love and knows the other side for those families. But for me, family pictures, someone's always missing.
Yeah.
And it's a real kind of snapshot, preserved way to just always remind you that someone's in your family that's not there. And we've done different things to kind of deal with it. Like sometimes have his picture in the picture, but I still don't love it. It's still not my favorite. But the other thing I would say is when he had his surgery to receive his G button, I was being taught, it was like later on the same day as his surgery, like 7:30 or 8 at night, and I've been up since 5 a.m., excruciating waiting for your child to come off of anesthesia and all that. And this lady was really insensitive, and she was trying to teach me how to care and do the G button and all of the risks. And I'm a mom, and all of a sudden my child's life is in my hands, in this medical way as well. And it was super overwhelming. So I think I have some stress. It triggers me a little bit to kind of care for other people in kind of more serious medical ways. And I am doing it right now with my mom. Thankfully, I feel like the Lord has provided a lot of tender mercies with some peace. But that's been really tough to deal with, some of those reminders of what I was quickly needing to do to help my son just have the best experience while he was here with us.
You felt like you needed a nursing degree just to be your kid's mom.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be his nurse. Yeah. I loved him so much and I wanted to do anything to help him, but it was overwhelming because I didn't feel qualified. And I didn't anticipate it. I was really in denial and resisted that for a while at first.
I remember that feeling well myself.
I bet.
So sometimes people are insensitive to people who are grieving. This happened to you guys, and can you share an example? Sometimes they say things like "at least" or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about some of the things that were not helpful that people did.
We were talking about this a little bit. For us, it was kind of when people would joke about his condition or talk about it. I had someone that I knew that talked about it at their work and treated it really lightly, and that was super hurtful.
And they weren't trying to be hurtful,
yeah. Like most people.
But you are obviously more sensitive.
Yeah. So that was really tough. Maybe if we wanted to make a joke about something or treat something lightly, that would be something that he could do. I didn't feel like, and that just really isn't our style, I guess, anyway. So I guess that was the hardest, is when people would just a little too casual or insensitive when it's your precious child.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that's kind of happened to me since all the trauma, is I have kind of developed a little bit of ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
trauma
like
changes your brain. Trauma changes your brain.
It does. And I used to be able to sit down and knock out something and without getting up. And now I have to reward myself. People out there listening, I have to get 10 plain M&Ms and lay them out. And as I write a chapter for the second book, and as I write, or 2 paragraphs, I get an M&M. I wrote 2 more paragraphs. Now I'm going to eat 2 M&Ms. And, you know, that's a dopamine feed, I believe. But my brain is a little off. And so this microcurrent neurofeedback is supposed to help neurological conditions, autism, anxiety, depression, migraines, addiction, concussion, sleep disorders, and many more. I'm very healthy. Self-care is my new hobby. And I've kind of done that because I realized I have one daughter. She's 26 years old. She lives in Houston, Texas. She passed the bar and she's a criminal defense attorney now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes,
wonderful.
But I don't want her to have to take care of me when I get older, and I'll be 53 in April. Well, we're in April now. I'll be 53 this month. So I want to take care of myself. So self-care is my hobby. So in that, I tell people all the time, in your grief, be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. I had no idea what Gail was asking me to do. I was like, what are you talking about? Be kind to myself. Like, hello, Theo, how are you? She goes, no. Just if you can't make an event or do something that you always have done, it's okay. Just say, no, I'm not going to make it. Or if you can't entertain somebody that wants to come visit, it's okay. Just say, I can't meet you today. I'm so sorry. But that is also a slippery slope, folks, because you don't want to get to the point, which I did, where I didn't want anybody around except my dog.
Right.
You've got to still get up sometimes, make your bed, put on your makeup, and get out. Because it is very good to still get out and live. We are all still here for a reason. There's a reason you're still here. Life is for the living. And we've got to still do something with that life. Try to make an impact. And if it's not for somebody else, do it for yourself.
You know, so a lot of times we think of grief as being associated with the death of a person. But do you think that these kind of challenges also produce grief?
Oh, absolutely. There's a really specific type of grief in seeing and knowing that close family members won't ever be physically or mentally whole in this life. Because like I said, sometimes you feel like if this one thing were taken care of, if it was just this one thing that was taken away, everything would be perfect and everything would be fine. And I think there's also grief in knowing that sometimes, you know, for whatever reason, Heavenly Father says, no, I'm sorry, I'm not taking that away.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, well.
And I love you. Those can exist at the same time.
Absolutely.
This isn't going to change, and I love you.
Yeah. And there's also, this is something I felt more so when I was younger, and that I'm kind of learning to outgrow, is there was this grief of feeling that my life wasn't fully mine in some ways. You know, I would go to school and some people would be so shocked to find out that I was, you know, my brother's sister. And they'd be like, they'd say this thing that I hated and still hate, which is, oh my gosh, but you're so normal. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? You know? And, you know, I kind of thought for a while, like, okay, that's who I am. I mean, I'm their sister.
I'm the sister of those kids.
Exactly. Like I'm the sister of those kids who were troublemakers or who got bullied or who did some crazy stuff or whatever. And
did you ever feel tempted to disassociate?
Oh yes, absolutely. There was a while when I was younger, I think in like middle school mostly, where it was just like I just told myself, don't let anyone know that you're their sister, because then you're not your own person. because, you know, I wanted to be known outside of that. And the grief that came from some, not all people, but definitely some people realizing that and looking at me and being like, oh, that's so-and-so's sister, was like, ouch. Like I have an identity outside of them.